Today we are going to finish up our chapter 5. We just have like 5 or 6 pages left. Last time we were talking about objectionable parallels. Do you remember this?
Yes.
Excellent. Let me pull our textbook up. What are some objectionable parallels? Do you remember?
Perfect fifths and octaves.
Yes, we're going to call them parallel fifths and parallels at the perfect fifth and parallels at the perfect octave. Good. And we went over this example, yes? Here we have parallel fifths in the bass and tenor, which is a no-no, but parallel sixths are okay. Here we have parallel octaves on the outer voices between soprano and the bass, but parallel thirds are okay. Are there questions on that? Sounded like somebody was going to ask a question, but then it didn't happen. Okay. We're good?
I was just screenshotting.
Gotcha. Did you get it? You got it all right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Remember that also includes their octave equivalent, such as a 12th or a unison. Right? We talked about that. Okay, and then we talked about it's okay if there are parallel fourths, even though that is an inverted fifth. And it's okay if it switches voices. Why is A okay?
Because they don't move pitch classes.
Right. Good. So you can stay on an octave, but you can't move into an octave. All right, we are to this part. Contrary fifths and octaves. Also called consecutive fifths and octaves by contrary motion, were also generally avoided, at least in vocal music. This means that the composer usually did not correct parallels by moving one of the parts up or down an octave. So, here we are. We have parallel fifths going on in the bass. Does everybody see that? Sounds like a bunch of strings tuning. And what's wrong with B? They move right into a fifth. Do you see it?
That's just the inverse of the first example.
I wouldn't say inverse. I would say the bottom note's down an octave, but it's the octave equivalent, right, Trey?
Yeah.
Good. Good. Questions on that? All right. However, contrary octaves are occasionally found at cadences, which they're calling harmonic goals, in instrumental music and especially in vocal writing when both melody and bass outline scale degree 5 going to scale degree 1. You will see that this occurs in example 5-18 below the arrow, but the listener probably understands that A4 and G4 are the basic notes in the melody in measures 7 and 8, whereas D4 is only a quick arpeggiation. Let's check that out. Let me make sure I'm sharing my audio.
Example 5:18.
Do you see what they're talking about? Let's read it again. Contrary octaves occasionally happen at cadences when both the melody and bass outline 5 to 1. They're calling this note a quick arpeggiation. We could take that D out completely and still be all right. But it kind of embellishes it and decorates it a little bit. So again, exceptions to the norms, right?
Wait, is this supposed to be an example of something that's wrong?
Well, yes. They're saying contrary octaves occasionally are found at the cadences, but they're justifying it by saying that the D4 is only a quick arpeggiation.
Okay.
And they're saying the listener probably understands that A4 and G4 are the basic notes of the melody. And then the D4 is just a quick little arpeggiation.
Oh, so it's like functioning as a lower neighbor of some sort.
Yeah.
I think that's what it's called.
They're calling it an arpeggiation.
Okay.
I don't know why they had to put that in there. We're going on. Unequal fifths result when a perfect fifth is followed by a diminished fifth or the reverse in the same two voices. Apparently, some tonal composers avoided unequal fifths involving the bass, and others used perfect fifth to diminished fifth, but not diminished fifth to perfect fifth. Yet neither of these restrictions holds true for tonal music in general. For the purposes of our part writing exercises, we will consider unequal fifths acceptable unless they involve a diminished fifth going to a perfect fifth between the bass and another voice. Several sets of unequal fifths are illustrated in example 5-19, with all but the last being acceptable. So here we have a perfect fifth between the tenor and the alto going to a diminished fifth, back to a perfect fifth. They're saying that's okay because it's in an inner voice. And then we have a perfect fifth going to a diminished fifth between the bass and soprano, which it's allowed to go that way, but it's not allowed to go the opposite way. So it can't go back. You have to resolve it a different way. And you can't have that one. You can't have a diminished fifth going to a perfect fifth, but you can have a perfect fifth going to a diminished fifth. All these norms that we are learning today. Questions so far? we're going to be given an example in our homework and in the self-test, I bet, and where we have to find these breakings of norms in examples. So we got to know them so that we can look for them. All right, next comes my favorite part. Direct or hidden fifths and octaves. Direct or hidden octaves result when the outer parts move in the same direction into a perfect fifth or into a perfect octave with a leap in the soprano. That's the key crucial part. And it can be a leap or a step in the bass. That's a fancy way of saying it doesn't matter what the bass does. But the important part is you have to have a leap in the soprano. Are you with me? You will be in a second. The aural result is similar to parallel fifths and octaves. In example 5-20A and 5-20B, the interval of a perfect fifth and a perfect octave between the outer voices is approached from the same direction with a leap in the soprano. 5-20C, the fifth involves the bass and alto, not the bass and the soprano, so it's okay. Whereas example 5-20D, the soprano moves by step, not by leap, so it's okay. So here we go. Example A. We go right into a direct fifth. Everybody see the P5? Get a leap in the soprano. They're calling anything that is a skip or more a leap. So we skip that line note. It doesn't matter what happens in the bass, step or skip, resulting in a hidden fifth or direct fifth. You with me? Yes, Dr. B. All right, on we go to B. We go right into a what?
Five.
Nope.
Direct octave.
Direct octave, hidden octave. Got our P8 there. We had a skip in the soprano. Doesn't matter what the bass does. It happens.
Oh, okay.
You with me? All right. C's okay. Why is C okay? We have a leap in the soprano. Or, sorry, we have a leap in the alto. Resulting in a fifth.
Soprano's not leap.
Yeah, these are only happening between the bass and the soprano, these hidden octaves and hidden fifths. So we're okay. Here, total octave. That's a no-no, isn't it? Except for we have stepwise motion in the soprano, so we are good. If it was a skip, we'd be in trouble. We'd be violating a norm. You with me?
Okay.
No one's got questions? No one's hitting me up in the chat privately? We're going to go on, unless you tell me. All right. The avoidance of parallels of all types was somewhat less strictly maintained in instrumental than in vocal music. In piano writing, for instance, accompaniment figures frequently outline fifths or octaves. All right, we're going to hear a little Mozart today. This is a cute little sonata.
Example 5:21.
Such a tease. Okay, so we have fifths, but we got a like nice little Alberti bass going on. So in most cases, such instances of parallels are confined to those textures and instrumental lines in which they are not obvious to the ear. When you attempt to compose music in the tonal style, you should use parallel fifths and octaves very sparingly, if at all, and in such a way that a listener's attention will not be drawn to them. Parallels involving both the outer parts are especially rare and should be avoided. The few instances of such parallels, such as in example 5-22, do not contradict the general validity of the rule. Possibly Beethoven was trying to evoke a rustic, unsophisticated atmosphere through the use of the parallels. The example is, after all, from the beginning of the Pastoral Symphony. Beethoven always breaks the rules. Let's hear it.
Example 5:22.
Let's hear that again.
Example 5:22.
All right, what are they talking about? Where's our objectionable parallels?
Measure 3.
Yeah, what parts?
The violoncello. The cello.
Cello. We go down to B flat.
Yeah.
Second violins, we go up to B flat. Okay. I think you're right. Here we have a direct fifth going on because we have a C in the bass clef and a G in the treble clef. We have a huge leap going on in soprano. So they're telling you not to do it, and then they're showing you an example when composers do it from some very small passage in a symphony. So there you go. Those are our objectionable parallels. Questions, comments, concerns? I think it's going to be more obvious when we're writing in 4-part than if we were writing a whole symphony here, like Beethoven. Somewhere along the line, we skipped a Haydn symphony or Haydn string quartet. Does anybody remember that? Should we go back? Where's Haydn hiding? That was for you, Ethan. All right, here's our Haydn example.
Example 5:18.
Oh, we listened to that one. All right. Checkpoint. What do we mean by the focal point of a melody?
Like a climax or high point.
Yeah, the top note, which should be singular, the highest note of the melodic line. Good. What scale degree is the strongest tendency tone in tonal music?
5.
No.
And
7.
5 or 7. God dang it.
T going to do.
that would be 7 and 4, not 5.
Can be like a 5-1 resolution.
Fa to mi, T to do.
Okay.
In a 4-voice texture, adjacent upper part should be kept within what interval?
Octave.
An octave. Under what circumstances are unequal fifths acceptable? Whenever you want, if you're Beethoven. You can go diminished fifth to perfect fifth, but you can't go... No, that's wrong. What am I saying? You can go perfect fifth to diminished fifth, but you can't go diminished fifth to perfect fifth. Do you remember that? And it can't happen in... It can only not happen in the bass. It's okay. It's acceptable in other voices.
Perfect fifth to dim.
You can go that way, but you can't go the opposite way. You can't go diminished fifth to perfect fifth between the bass and another voice. You with me?
Yeah.
I just need more examples.
Oh,
I don't know why
we've
it's...
got examples for you, all right. We will hook you up. We'll just take a self-test. And the workbook. What are direct octaves? Direct octaves are when we have a skip in the soprano, doesn't matter what happens in the bass, and we go to an octave. Remember? Skip in the soprano, resulting in a direct octave. Sometimes called hidden octaves. Did you pass your checkpoint? All right. Self-test 3, here we go. This is exactly what you're going to be asked to do on your workbook homework. On page 39. So they're going to give you a little example here. And they want to know, what kind of motion do we have? So they want you to put lead sheet symbols in the blanks above the example. I don't know why. I do know why. It's to appeal to the masses. Include our jazzers on this lovely exercise. And analyze the motion between the pairs of voices. So they want to know, how is the motion between bass soprano, bass alto, bass tenor, tenor soprano, tenor alto, alto soprano? They want to know, is it oblique? Is it static? Is it contrary? Is it similar? Is it parallel? All right, there we go. Okay, what key are we in?
B flat.
You sure? You put money on that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what kind of chord do we have here?
Looks like 1.
Yeah, but we're being jazzers today, so we got to call it a B flat major. Next.
Six, so G.
G minor.
Oh, I didn't know I was muted.
You were like eating something or typing something. It was weird.
I have a lot of background noise for some reason.
Next. Am I going to start calling on people?
E.
C major?
Ah, I'm muted again. E flat. Wouldn't it be? Oh no, it's just C minor. You're right. Yeah.
Next chord.
F. Just F.
Just F. All right. Now we get to determine the motion between all these parts. Do we want to tackle bass and soprano first? Oh, we didn't do this right. We weren't true jazzers.
Oh, yes.
Ian, it sounds like you're trying to say something, but it sounds like you're in a manhole pipe somewhere underground.
It's a
All right, I'm not hearing anything. On we go. Bass and soprano. From 1 to 2, what happens? What kind of emotion? What kind of motion, not emotion? What kind of motion do we have?
Static.
They both stay the same?
It'd
Or,
be
well, the soprano does, not the bass.
So then it's not static. They have to
Yeah.
both stay the same to be static.
oblique. Is that what's called?
Oblique. Next, soprano moves, bass move. And they move in opposite directions.
Contrary.
Contrary. All right, next. They move in opposite directions.
Contrary.
Great. Okay, now we're going to go from bass and alto.
Oblique. Yeah, no, contrary.
Contrary.
Quite the contrary.
Down. Staying the same.
Oblique.
Parallel?
Oblique.
One's moving, one's not. All right, moving up. Moving down.
Contrary. Oblique.
Oblique.
Contrary.
Contrary.
Oblique. Oh, I thought it said on the same notes.
Contrary.
Contrary. Yeah.
All right, next we're going tenor and soprano.
Static.
Static.
Yay.
Yay, no progress.
Yeah.
All right, both are going up.
Similar.
Yeah, similar.
We're going to call it parallel.
Parallel.
And they want
What's
me
the
to call
difference between similar is they both go up at different intervals, right?
Oh, that's right. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
That's why we got to put this T here for static and not S for similar. Make sure you don't mix those two up. Okay, here we go. Sopranos moving down.
Parallel.
And they move in the same distance. Good. Okay, now we are doing tenor and alto.
Oblique.
Oblique, the tenors don't move.
Oblique.
Oblique, the altos don't move.
Similar.
Alto and soprano.
Oblique.
Oblique, the sopranos don't move.
Oblique.
Oblique, the altos don't move.
Parallel?
Similar. Altos only go down one wall.
They both moved a third, or they both moved a second, then it would be parallel. Does it make sense, Andy?
Yeah.
Nicely done. Can I clear my screen? Hearing no objections. All right. We're going on to Bach. Now they're going to have us use Roman numeral numbers. And then we are going to find examples of objectionable or parallelism, objectionable or otherwise, that you can find. Let's listen to it.
Self-test 5-3B.
What key are we in?
G.
Excellent. Let's analyze this. Chord number 1.
1.
Chord number 2. If you need, get your charts out.
4.
4. Next.
1.
1.
Next.
5.
Next.
6.
Little 6.
Good, because it's minor.
5.
5 going right where it's supposed to. 2.
1.
1. Good job. All right, parallels. Parallel 6, we're okay?
Should be.
You have an octave in the bass, though, in that measure.
What does that mean?
There's a
That wouldn't be a parallel octave, though, would it?
What's our definition?
the one going to the 5. The first one going to the 5.
Here?
The G to the D, is that yeah, isn't that a direct fifth? Yeah, with the although you know what, the soprano's not leaping, so I guess it wouldn't count.
Right. I can tell you that there are 3 more examples of parallels in this excerpt.
There's another parallel 6 at
Where?
the end. The tenor and the soprano.
Here.
Yeah, would that count?
It will count, but they're calling it. They're calling it parallel thirds.
I guess that makes sense.
But I think that they're sixths. Oh no, they are calling it sixths. I'm sorry. Yeah. Parallel sixths. This is, of course, Bach, so he doesn't have any objectionable parallels because he never broke the rules, right? They wrote the rules on Bach.
What would the tenor?
Say that again, whoever just said that.
The tenor. Would the tenor below it be?
The tenor
Again.
below.
The parallel that you just did.
It's a parallel sixth. We have an A in the tenor and an F sharp in the soprano, and they both move up a whole step. I'm sorry, they move up a step to another sixth. So we have sixths between the soprano and the tenor. You with me?
Yes, sir.
Or so, yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right, the other examples are parallel thirds. Can you find parallel thirds?
The soprano and the tenor in the 5 to the 6.
Yep. Good.
Do we have parallel fifths in the 1, 2, third measure?
In this measure,
Yeah.
between which parts?
Soprano and bass.
No, because we have an E going to a G, which is a third.
Oh.
But hey, you found our thirds. E and G, D and F sharp.
Oh, yes.
And there are all of our parallels for this example. Good job.
Isn't
Right.
there
Go ahead.
another one in the one going to the 5, in the tenor and the soprano? Or am I seeing things?
I think you're right. Yeah. And then it just continues on, doesn't it? Make sense? Can I erase?
Yes.
All right. Next comes find the errors. This kind of question is going to show up in your homework as well. It's also going to show up on exams. It's going to show up for the rest of your life. Find the part writing errors. So we are trying to find the following 5 problems in this excerpt. So somewhere they've got parallel octaves, parallel fifths, direct fifths, contrary fifths, and a spacing error. Ready, set, go.
I think I see the spacing error
Okay, where is it?
between the alto and the soprano in the third measure.
Right here.
Yeah.
More than an octave. So we're going
There's
to
a
put
parallel fifth
we're going to put a big 5 here saying, hey, we found example number 5. Okay, Catherine, go ahead.
There's a parallel fifth in the bass and soprano in the first measure.
Ooh, right off the bat, we're breaking the rules. So we're going to call that
Number 2.
number 2. Excellent. We're looking for a parallel octave, a direct fifth, and a contrary fifth. What has to happen for it to be a direct fifth?
A leap in the soprano.
Yeah, exactly. So what you can do is just trace down your soprano line. And what part does it? What parts do they happen in?
The soprano and the bass.
All right, so here we go. Step, step, step. Here we have a leap. Same note. Leap. Leap. Step, step. So there's only 3 spots that it could occur in. Here, here, and here. Well, here we have a leap in the soprano. Hey, we have a leap in the bass, and they go to the same notes. Ding, ding, ding. We found our direct fifth. You with me?
Yeah.
Here they don't go to a fifth. Well, here they go to a fifth. Is that a problem? Actually, I did that wrong. This isn't a fifth. What is this?
That's an octave, right?
That's an octave. That's our number 1. They both move the same direction right into an octave. Here, the bass and the soprano don't have a fifth, so that can't be a hidden fifth.
Yeah, looks like it's the third leap.
The third leap, let's see, we got a G and a D. That is a fifth. There is our hidden fifth or direct fifth. Okay, contrary fifths. What are contrary fifths?
They get to the fifth in opposite directions.
Yeah. Where does that happen?
Probably in between 1 and 3.
Okay, do you see it?
No, I'm still looking.
So here we have a B to a D. That's not a fifth. G to a D. Because this gets held over, right? Does it have to occur between certain voices?
I would guess between the soprano and bass.
What's our definition of contrary fifths? Contrary fifths, also called consecutive fifths, by contrary motion, means they did not correct the parallels by moving one part up or one part down. Usually found in cadences.
I mean, there's a contrary fifth in the cadence here.
Which cadence?
With an octave.
The end from A to D.
I would say that's an octave, though. That's not parallel, I mean.
So you're
You're
saying
right.
between which
That's
parts?
what I get.
From A to D in the bass,
There?
That's the only that's the only thing that I could see.
So the book didn't mark that. There's no leap in the soprano, so it's not a hidden octave, but we're looking for a fifth. And that goes to the octave, so that's okay. The contrary fifth is right here. Where the bass moves up, the soprano moves down. I'm sorry, the alto moves down. And we have the interval of a fifth.
So it's not just having to be between soprano and
No.
bass.
So for this, do they actually have to be a fifth apart at the end, or can they be multiple fifths?
Let's read it one more time. Contrary fifths and octaves, also called consecutive fifths and octaves by contrary motion, were also generally avoided, at least in vocal music. I think it's perhaps easier to think about it as consecutive fifths or octaves by contrary motion. So we have a fifth between the D and the G, right here. They both leap in opposite direction, contrary motion, to form another fifth. So we have two fifths in a row by contrary motion.
Okay.
Does everybody see it? What's the solution to that problem?
Wait, could you repeat that?
Sure. So what the book is calling contrary fifths and octaves, a lot of other people call consecutive fifths or octaves by contrary motion.
That makes more sense.
Yes, to me as well.
Yeah, okay. So in this example, you're going from D to G to D, basically.
G to D to D to A. So we have two fifths in a row. We have a perfect fifth right here.
And B to, how would B to A be a fifth?
Not B, D.
Oh, okay, yeah.
D to A, we have a perfect fifth. We have two perfect fifths in a row, and our motion went. We had G and D, and then alto went down, and soprano went up, and we had D to A.
Yeah, it makes more sense as consecutive fifths because now I'm looking for just constant examples of fifths occurring.
Consecutive fifths by contrary motion.
Yeah, by contrary.
Yeah. All right. Did everybody see it? Do we understand it? Would you like to do another?
Yes.
Yeah.
Can I erase my screen? You can also get your screenshot on the replay, right? I believe Monday's lecture is already up on YouTube. Still working on Tuesday's ear training, though. All right, here we are. We have 6 problems in this example. I'm going to play it this time just to hear how horrible it is. It might help you hear some of the problems rather than see some of the problems. We got problems.
We always have problems.
When does life doesn't have problems?
When you move to Easy Street. Easy Street.
That's amazing.
That's from Annie.
Yeah, I know. It's amazing.
All right. I can see one. What's my problem?
Oh, I was saying parallel octaves in measure 2.
You see parallel octaves where?
Beat 3 and 4,
What notes?
D and E.
So we're going to mark that with a numeral 2. You were right. Good. What have I found here?
Fifths,
What kind?
parallel.
No.
Oh, the unequals,
Unequal. Why?
because it's going from a diminished into a perfect.
Yeah, I got a G sharp to a D. Going to parallel fifth. What else is wrong?
I think I found the contrary octaves in the beginning of the third measure.
Where?
Between the A's on not that line, but the not one next to that one.
Okay, so you're saying that this A doing what? I don't understand what's wrong with the A.
The consecutive octaves, or sorry, they're
So this A moves to an F sharp. And this A moves to a D. So they're not consecutive, or they're not, and they don't move contrary into an octave. So I think they're okay. Let's find our spacing error.
The spacing error is the first measure.
First measure?
I mean, not the first measure, second measure between tenor and bass.
Tenor and bass can have more than an octave, so that's okay.
Is it the one chord, the A chord in the third measure? Not
Here?
not the first one, but the second one.
Yes, between which voices?
The tenor and the alto?
Yeah, we could drive a semi-truck through that. Huge spacing error. More than an octave. Good. All right, parallel fifths. Let's find those.
We could look for all the leaps in the soprano.
Not for parallel fifths necessarily.
Oh, not for the parallel, right? I'm thinking direct.
Is the contrary octave then in the third measure, right after the spacing error?
Here?
Tenor and alto.
Hmm. It might be. They don't mark it that way, but let's look at that. What's wrong with that?
They both go to F, so.
I would think that is. They mark another one, but I'm going to mark it. I think you're right.
Hey.
How wouldn't this example, wait, is this, I might be just misreading what you're marking. How wouldn't this example just be the A's to the F sharp?
The alto goes from A to F sharp, but the tenor goes from E to F sharp. They move
Oh
opposite
yeah, it
directions.
has to stay within voices. Okay.
That's what I meant to say earlier. Kat helped me understand it more, though. Thank you.
Okay, cool.
So you don't have to go from octaves to an octave for it to be contrary octaves?
No, you have to move opposite
And
directions
it doesn't
into an
have to be.
octave.
Oh, that, I thought I was insane. Okay. There you go.
So there's another contrary octave.
Yeah, isn't the other one in the going into the last measure with the A's?
Tenor goes up, bass goes down.
And the soprano goes up, so it's
They don't mark that.
I was looking at the soprano and the bass. I didn't notice tenor, but yeah, that looks like it could
Yeah,
get
you
too.
could mark that as well, couldn't you? So this is another example of number
Cool.
4. Good. All right, we're still missing a direct octave and a perfect fifth.
Was the example they marked in measure 2
4.
parallel octaves? No. Contrary octaves.
No. Contrary octaves they marked right here at the end.
Direct octave could be that.
Remember, what do we have to have a direct octave? Remember, I like to call them hidden octaves. What do we have to have?
The leap in the soprano.
All right, so let's find soprano leaps. There's one.
I think it's that one actually.
It is that one actually. So, and it has to happen between the bass and the soprano. We have a leap in the soprano, and we both end up on E's. There's our direct octave. Does everybody see it?
Yep.
All right, we're missing some parallel fifths.
Is the parallel fifth right after it?
Let's see. Between which parts?
Wait. Never mind.
What is the definition of parallel fifths again?
The definition of parallel fifths is
There's a parallel fifth in the last measure where the contra octave is between. Oh, that's the wrong note. No, I'm going from soprano to alto. Never mind.
Objectionable parallels result when two parts that are separated by a perfect fifth or perfect octave or by their octave equivalents move to new pitches that are separated by the same interval. So two parallel fifths in the same part. A perfect fifth between the same voice parts that move into another perfect fifth in those same voice parts.
There's a perfect fifth between 5 and 1 in the second measure, so alto and tenor. I mean, soprano and tenor, goodness.
So we have an A and an E here, moving to a B and an F sharp here, is what you're saying. You are right. Okay, so this is what our workbook has for us this weekend. Don and Catherine, do you have questions for me? They have this cool interactive drill that I thought we would do. They give us 9 examples, and there are 8 errors on the list that we're going to have to find in these 9 examples. And they said there might be other errors like voice crossing and all that stuff, but we're only looking for these 8 errors. So I'm going to click on number 1 and see what we get here. So there could be, but there doesn't have to be, these 8 errors between each chord in this example. And what it is it's a drop-down list, and you say either that it's okay or that it has error 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, or 8 between all of those. So let's see if we can find any errors. We're looking for those 8 errors.
There's, let's see, a parallel fifth between the bass and the alto, where it moves up from D to E.
Here?
Yeah.
And the alto?
And then, okay, that would the top note be considered soprano?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we have parallel fifths right there, yeah? Good. Correct. Good job.
Spacing error on beat 3, the A to the C. Is that, oh, that's acceptable, right? The bass to the soprano.
Yeah, so for spacing errors, we are only looking at adjacent parts, the part right above.
Oh, okay.
So we're looking between alto and soprano, tenor and alto. But remember, we can have more than an octave between bass and tenor.
Okay.
There is a spacing error in this example. Where can we drive a semi-truck through?
In the third measure, the B to the D between the
huge gap here, right?
Yeah.
So we have an octave and a third there, which is no good. So we're going to call that spacing error number 8. Correct. Good. Now, some of these are going to be okay. So let's go beat 2 to beat 3. Is that okay? I don't see any parallel octaves or fifths. The soprano doesn't leap So we can't have any direct octaves or direct fifths. Do we have any octaves by contrary motion or fifths by contrary motion? We have a fifth between bass and alto, but they go by similar motion, so I think they're okay. I don't see any diminished fifths, and I don't see a spacing error. I think we're okay here. Whew, we're okay. We have an octave between the bass and the soprano, but again, it's by step. I don't see any spacing errors. I don't hear any diminished fifths. Are we okay here? I'm going to put in that we're okay. We passed. Oh, I totally hear that one and I see it. What's the problem?
Parallel octaves.
Parallel octaves between soprano and bass. Nice job. All right. Are we okay there? I think I see it. Or are we all right?
Would we be all right?
Let's see. Should we answer that? We're okay. Yep, we're okay. I thought we might have a fifth problem, but this stays the same. It doesn't move by contrary motion. Ah, do you hear the strings tuning? We have a fifth by contrary motion, right? Is that right? Yeah, we busted them. All right.
Why is that contrary motion? It says it's the fifth.
So we got this D that's going to hang out over here. So we still have a D here.
Oh, okay. And the B's going down.
A, and the G's going up to a perfect fifth.
Okay.
And it sounds like my junior high orchestra tuning. All right. Now, from this chord to this chord, are we all right? Besides that horrible spacing error. Wow. Do you see anything? Should we mark it okay? There's something wrong with it. What is it?
Are we supposed to... Oh, no, that's not the spacing error yet.
Is it a fifth problem because we have a leap in the soprano?
Is it number 6, fifth by contrary motion?
Well, the fifths by.
Are we only using everything once?
No, I don't think we can make that assumption. I don't think it's fifth by contrary motion. Where's the fifth?
It's a hidden fifth.
It's a hidden fifth. Direct fifth, number 4. Yeah, good. Good, John. All right, here we go.
Are we looking at the last 2 notes here?
No, we're looking at the last 2 of the measure.
Oh.
Are we okay? Are we going to mark it okay, or you got an issue? We're all right. I think we're okay there, aren't we? Or do we have an octave? We're all right. These are kind of fun, huh? Should we do another one?
Yeah. Wait, Dr. P, I have a question.
Go ahead.
So, I thought it was going to be octaves by contrary motion because it goes from A in the bass down to the D, and then in the soprano, it goes from C sharp up to D.
Yeah. I wondered the same.
I thought the same thing.
Yeah. So let's read what has to happen.
Like,
contrary octaves are occasionally found at cadences, which this clearly does. Yeah. The book says contrary fifths and octaves, also called consecutive fifths and octaves by contrary motion. And that's the answer to your question. There is definitely an octave by contrary motion. However, there are not consecutive octaves by contrary motion. If we went into it from, if we had an A in the soprano and an A in the bass, and then we moved to the D, we would have consecutive. So that's, again, this is why I don't like the way the book calls some of these things. I would call this consecutive octaves by contrary motion, or consecutive fifths by contrary motion. And I would call these hidden fifths and hidden octaves, but they call them what they call them. Did I answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay.
So there needs to be more than just the one at the end. There needs to be like 1 or 2 beforehand.
It has to be consecutive, 2 in a row.
Okay, cool.
All right. Let's do another one. All right, let me play it. Oh, I can hear so many things wrong. Can you hear him? Ready, go.
Okay, is there a spacing error on the
Where?
second beat on the first measure?
Good job. Huge spacing error. Good job. What else?
Parallel octaves.
Where?
In the between the bass and the soprano in the first two
B1?
notes.
Sorry, what did you say?
Parallel octave.
Yeah, I see it too. Why are they not calling it parallel octave? Oh, I put the wrong one. I'm sorry. Number 1. Parallel octave. Good. There's another one of those.
Contrary octave on number 3.
You saying number 5?
Yeah. No.
It's not okay, and it's not number 5.
Is it a direct fifth?
Okay, let's see. We got a leap in the soprano, but it goes from an A to a C sharp, so I don't see it as being a direct fifth. But it is. Where is the fifth?
Between the bass and the soprano.
The bass and the alto. The A and the E.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, what?
I see a fifth here. There's a leap in the soprano, but it's got to be between the bass and the soprano, does it not?
Oh, I'm looking at beat 3 moving to beat 4.
Ah. Leap in the soprano. Leap in the soprano. And we have a fifth. You're right. I just would have answered that here, but I see it. Yep. Good. Do you see that, Pete? Yeah. All right. What else? Is 4 into 5 is beat 4 into beat 1 okay?
Is there something diminished in there?
Nope, it's okay. I think this one's okay too. I think this one's okay too. Oh no, this one's not going to be okay. What's wrong with this one?
Consecutive fifths.
Where? F sharp to A is a third. A to D is a fourth. F sharp to D is a sixth. Is this okay?
Oh no, because that would be a contrary octave.
But don't forget, contrary means consecutive. So that one's
That's
okay.
That's what I don't get.
It has to have 2 octaves in a row, or 2 fifths in
okay.
a row, by contrary motion.
Oh, by contrary motion.
Yeah. All right. What now? Does everybody see a parallel octave coming up somewhere?
Yeah, between going from the 4 to the 1.
Everybody see that parallel octave? Now, where do we mark that? Do we mark it here?
I think so.
Yep. Or are we okay here? This is like Minesweeper, right? Like, do I click?
Yeah. I think we're okay.
Are we okay here?
Yes.
Woo! We solved it. So kind of fun. I think super helpful. I really love this. I've never seen anything like these interactive drills before, and I think they're so helpful. Unfortunately, with Canvas's limited capability, I'm not able to do anything like this. I guess I could. It'd be a huge drop-down box, actually. It would take forever to code it into Canvas, but yeah, it could be done. All right. So there you go. That's chapter 5. I think this interactive drill will help you a lot. And let's get the workbook done for Sunday evening. Questions, comments, concerns? If not, I'll see you tomorrow in ear training.
Thank you, Dr. B.
You are welcome.
See ya.
Bye.
See ya. Later, Dr. B.
Later.
Oh, Dr. B, I forgot to tell you something.
Yeah.
I was talking to my friend Eric Borboa last night. He
Yeah.
said hi and that he missed being your student.
All right.
Also, one more thing he said. Hold on.
Is this going to be a sound effect?
Oh, he told me to tell you that he has peppers for you if you want to give yourself a real pepper.